Hello everybody and welcome to the True Potential Do More With Your Money podcast. It is episode 197 and this is a new format for the podcast this particular week. Each month, one of the privileges I suppose I have as chief executive is writing a summary of what happened in the last month, and that gives us a chance to take stock of what worked well, take stock of what didn't work so well, and share that message with our clients, our advisors and our staff. So the purpose of today's podcast is to talk about that in a bit more depth, and to help me do so I'm joined by three veterans of the podcast community. Jamie Sexton, who's Director of Client Servicing, George Bell, Portfolio Manager, and Dianne, Pattison, Head of Delivery, which is digital delivery, not postal delivery.
No, because if it was postal delivery, I'd probably be busy today.
Why would you be busy?
I'd be delivering festive cards. I'm not saying that word.
Okay, that's interesting. So, from there. So anyway, welcome you three, and thank you for joining me today. You three sounds very bossy, doesn't it? So
it's good to be here.
Yeah, let me kick off with some of the figures, really, some of the headline achievements from November itself. So more than £500 million was invested into the True Potential investments and onto our platform itself. And what that meant to us is that we tipped over how many clients we look after. We now, as of the end of November, look after 502,000 clients with more than £27 billion of assets. They're great milestones for us, ones we feel really proud about, but ones that we are also really privileged to do so as well. We don't take any client, we don't take any of your money for granted at all. So for every pound we get on, it's seen as a triumph to us, and it's seen as a real challenge to make us help your money grow and help you hit your different goals, which we'll talk about a bit more today, really. But a big thank you to everybody who trusted True Potential in November, and indeed going back 16 years as well. So thank you. In terms of how else you yourselves act and use True Potential, you logged in 710,000 times on the website itself and 569,000 times on the app itself. So you have interacted with True Potential on more than 1 million different occasions as well. So that's a great barometer for us as well, to make sure that the technology which Dianne and the team provide for you is relevant, is useful, is informative to you all as our clients. And finally, we won 5 different awards as well at the Financial Advisor Service Awards themselves. I think sometimes we have them at the back. We don't today, so I shouldn't think at that. But winning those awards, I think, was for pension and protection provider, back office support services, discretionary fund management. So that's your bag, George.
Absolutely.
And investment provider and platform provider. They're based purely on merit, on the caliber of the work we do. So thank you again to everyone who helped build up those particular entrants for us. Why do we tell you about that, ladies and gentlemen? It's not to be seen as bragging. It hopefully gives you further comfort that the firm you've entrusted your finances with is a firm who's seen amongst peers as being top of the class as well. So thank you again for that. That's enough of me talking for the time being, George. I think let's move straight across to you to talk about investment management in November. I think it was a good month.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, a lot going on, but you've summarised it very well in the executive summary. 2 main takeaways from me in November. One was the level of returns in markets. Had global equities in sterling terms up around 5%, and a similar level from global government bonds, but also just the breadth in terms of returns across different regions and sectors. It was quite a broad rally in markets. Key drivers have really been inflation falling. We've seen quite a rapid fall in terms of the level of inflation, not just in the UK, but across the US and in Europe as well since the summer, which is building this confidence that central banks have done enough in terms of raising interest rates to bring inflation under control, and they probably actually have some scope to start to bring interest rates down through the course of next year. If we cast our mind back to the last podcast I was on, I was talking about the potential for one more interest rate hike to come from the UK and the European Central Bank. That seems to have gone away. Central banks have paused at the most recent meeting which they've had. They are no longer expecting for interest rates to be at their current levels until the summer. The market's pulled this forward a little bit and starting to look at the potential for interest rate cuts to start to come down from around the spring of next year. And the magnitude of interest rate cuts has doubled as well. So the market is taking a lot of comfort in the fact that inflation's coming down, but economic growth is still remaining pretty robust. We call this an environment of disinflation. It's fallen inflation, but growth remaining in a comfortable position. And that is typically, it's the longest phase of the inflation cycle. And it's a phase of the inflation cycle where you tend to get good returns out of equities and bonds as well. And that's the environment which we've been positioning our portfolios for through the course of the year. So we've been anticipating this coming. We started to see the credible evidence of it coming through from the summer, and that addition to equities and the addition to bonds which we've made for clients this year has been rewarded very much so in a month like November. But it's just another reminder that, you know, we've talked about volatility, and a number of investors who've came into the financial market in the last number of years have probably experienced a number of periods where volatility has been led with challenged performance. This is another example of the fact that volatility can also bring some very positive returns. So a great month for market returns and a great month in which we participated in very well within the portfolios.
And you could tell it was going to be a good month because I sit next to Jamie every day and Jamie loves logging into his app.
Yeah.
So you were getting more and more excited as the month began to close off there. And
it's a funny one. I think it's when you know, I'll obviously log into my app regular just as an end client, but also as someone who's, you know, ensuring that the apps are all, you know, working and working in the right way. But when you look in and logging in your app on a regular basis, you can see the benefit of actually, you know, logging in maybe slightly less, and you're seeing the volatility in between. But if you just drew a line from example 2-3 months ago to now, it would just be going like this. You just wouldn't see that area, and even going back 2-3 months is too much of a short time period. Or I always say when I give advice, you need to be invested for 5 years. So I think these are the key things when you're using your app and you're looking at that volatility. You've got a great month. We've had a great month this last month. Sorry, it's about looking at over that long-term period, and that's really important.
no, I think it is because look, you know, one month doesn't make a, you know, success yet, you know, but it's fantastic to see in that growth alone, you know, 4+% in the balanced portfolio in a 1 month period. It's incredible. It's fantastic, and it shows the benefit, I think, of staying put. You know, which is one of the things we've tried to communicate to everybody all year, that losses and indeed gains aren't real until you actually crystallize them. You know, otherwise it's never nice watching things move down. But if you had gone out in the summer, you wouldn't have experienced that 4% plus increase this particular month. And even when you look at things on a year-to-year basis, I think the balance is up to 2.3% this year as well. So all being well, December's looking positive as well. You know, so we could have a great last 2 to 3 months of 2023, which, you know, if you were in the summer, would have been harder to imagine.
Exactly, yeah. You know, it's to your point, the pressures through the course of this year have all been recovered through. We've got through that through the position in which we've had. It comes back to diversification as well, why you have diversification to help you manage some of these challenges, but also get yourself with the active managers we partner with in a position where when these rallies come, you participate very well. So there's two sides to the story, and you know, we give ourselves the exposure to clients through the app where they can check the returns on a daily basis, and in difficult market environments, that opens you up, but that's why we're here. We're here to tell everybody what's going on in the markets, but we're also there to demonstrate exactly what's happening behind the rallies which we see as well.
Yeah, which hopefully, well, you do on the morning markets, for instance. You know, you lift the bonnet a little bit, so hopefully a lot of our clients do log in and listen to that. While we'll stay on this thing, actually, this point, a little bit selfishly, a bit of customer research, please. So if anybody's listening, please do email the team in. Because something, Jamie, you've been doing with Dianne is trying to figure out the type of time scale a client sees when they first log in. And it's these type of discussions. Do we show it every day in terms of movements? Do you give a 3 month? Do you give a year to date side of things? And it's really tricky to figure out because yes, we're all clients of True Potential in the room, and that means anything we talk about, we're living every day. But I'm also conscious of the fact that because we live this every day, we can almost become a bit
polarised, aren't we, really? So we don't know what our clients' external influences are because we're not them all day, every day. We know what ours are, and we can come into the office and have a conversation about the portfolios or the technology or anything that we might be like, oh, what should I do? We don't know what's happening for the clients. So like you say, we do try and make it very client-centric, what we do. We will have a lot of discussions about the technology and how it does and doesn't work. And there are clients that will get in touch to say they like these features or they're not a fan of these ones. And we do tend to try and base our releases on some of the nice things the clients will want. But one of the things that we have had a lot of discussions at, and we still haven't got the answer, or an answer in fact, is what would clients like to see in terms of the optimal date range when they very first log in and they get to see the overview? Because, like you say, like 2 or 3 months ago, you log in and it's, oh, just wish I hadn't bothered. You log in yesterday and you're like, where did that come from? How did that happen? But had you not have seen it happening on your website, would you even know? And I think we sometimes, it's not that we shoot ourselves in the foot, but we were the first people ever to make valuations available 24/7 on a site to clients, having no idea what was obviously around the corner. And sometimes I think clients can be a little bit fearful of seeing that for the first time.
Well, something we noticed by tracking some of the data was some clients, at times of real volatility, up and downs, were logging in every day. And one day you were looking 2 or 3% up, and the next you might be 2 or 3% down. And harking back to Jamie's very relevant points, this tends to be a five-year plus game in terms of investment. So it's 5 times 365 days. I'm not fast enough with maths. It's 1,825. There we go.
Wowza.
I think. From there, you wouldn't log in 1,825 days every day because you'd be saying that. You should be arguably looking at it on a more smooth basis. But we've always extolled the virtues of the app, so that's the kind of the other side of things.
I think it's really interesting because I mentioned I log in terms of making sure it works and everything, but actually I'm generally interested in market movement as an individual. I like to know what's going on in the market. I like to know what drives my money, and that's a personal thing. I don't have the in terms of money, I'm aware that money goes up and down. I still feel the anxiety when it goes down, like everyone else. But I'm generally more interested. Where speaking to other clients, where they're just interested in looking for that level of growth over a longer period of time. And I think it's where I think you should always have transparency. You should always if I want to see my valuations every day, I should be able to do that. But when I should have the choice of when I want to do that. And I think that's something we do pretty well.
The choice is there.
We've always prided ourselves on being holistic to clients so they can log in and see everything that we know about their accounts. They can see firsthand 24/7.
No, information control's important.
Yeah.
It's very much so.
And volatility which sits behind it is part and parcel of the market. But if we look at any asset class or equity or bond market, if we look at portfolio returns since we launched, the chart would just go up. You've had positive returns through markets, but volatility along the way. You couldn't write the type of scenarios which we've had since we launched the portfolios, but if we plot the long-term return, it's been very strong.
When volatility, you don't get growth.
Yeah, exactly. We've picked up some very cheap units as well through the course of the time. And
which drives the growth.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Let's shift gears slightly just away from the investment piece and move to you, Jamie, in terms of service and support. But we've got like a realm of different stats to look at. But I think what might be most relevant is if you maybe share some of the stats about the advisor support team and the relationship management guys.
I think I actually we're looking at November as a month here, but I've actually got it for the year because I thought it was quite interesting. But if we just start with the financial advisor and the level of support that were given to advisors, and I think we're fully aware that our advisors will have many clients, and the support that we deliver our advisors can have a huge effect on the service that they deliver to their clients. So that's why it's really important to us in terms of having good technology for our advisors and good levels of support and to the needs. So in November alone, we dealt with just short of 5,000 emails with clients, over 5,500 calls, and what we call support tickets, just under 600 support tickets as well. So you're kind of looking at that. My quick maths there is we're nearly 11,000 interactions with advisors over that period of time, which is important because normally an interaction with an advisor is an interaction with their clients. So that's really important that we deal with that.
Yeah.
On average, in terms of the levels of call, we have a very strict guideline in terms of answer rates with both advisors and clients in terms of ensuring that it's answered within a minute, because we want advisors to get answers quickly.
Yeah.
And we don't proclaim to be, we do proclaim to be, good at what we do with this, but we're always looking to improve.
Yeah.
And ironically, I've just been sitting through some sessions for the last for all morning, which is the target we give to the team. So everyone within True Potential Wealth Managers of Business, we asked them to do a short presentation on how they believe they could improve advisor experience, which would lead to better client outcomes.
Yeah.
And some really great ideas there that have come through. Which
can you trailer the winning idea, or is that?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, I will. Because they won't be listening to us till later. But yeah, the winning idea was doing a live chatbot for advisors. So the minute we do, we're looking at AI for clients. The idea is an advisor can log onto their systems, they can ask their query, and rather than think, actually, where do I go? Do I go to that team? The system kind of tells them and goes through it. So that was the winning idea. Although there's many good ideas that we might take as well. That was the winning one.
I saw there was some of the dev guys in the room. It looked like Russell and Liam were watching.
They were quite excited by it, actually.
In there, but that probably segues nicely into yourself, Dianne, because you've been busy. You're in the team, and actually your top feature has got AI in there as well. So Jamie's teed you up very nicely.
Yeah. So some of the features that we've been running and testing throughout this year, AI was one of them. I think everybody knows, obviously, AI is everywhere at the minute. And I think what people don't realise is that AI has actually been around for a very long time. It's not that we've shied away from it, but as everybody knows, we are very heavily regulated. So we won't look at technologies if we don't necessarily think that they're either going to be beneficial for True Potential and the clients, or if we can use them in a way that actually supports the use of that technology. So what we're trialling with a bit of a soft launch is the ability we do get clients that say, I forgot my login credentials, I don't know what they are. It doesn't necessarily need a call handler, like you say, Jamie, to answer those calls. So the soft launch of the AI is for clients to be able to unlock their accounts 24/7 without needing to actually physically speak to someone.
Yeah, and I think it'll be really interesting because it's 24/7.
Yep.
So, what happens if you lose your password at 10 p.m. at night?
Yeah.
You've got to wait till the next day right now. So I think AI can help with some of that. But what I'd really stress, because it's something I've been navigating with you, Jamie, as well, is we want our clients and the advisors to be certain we're not using AI to reduce staff.
Absolutely not.
What we're actually doing that is using AI to help us do almost some of the dog work, almost the simpler tasks where clients can indeed help themselves. What does that do? That frees up the relationship management team to actually have the more meaningful conversations with our clients from there. So I see AI being in addition to, rather than instead of.
Yeah, it's keeping those call times down as well. Yeah. So we don't want clients having to wait for something that, I'm not saying it's more important, but that might be a little bit more urgent than just a reset of a password. We don't want clients having to wait longer than a minute because the call handlers are dealing with calls that we can deal with in a more efficient way, which is what AI provides.
It's really important because actually for next year, when I'm talking to the sort of relationship management team and how we deal with customers, we're looking at actually if we can reduce these workloads, what can we do from a more personal perspective for clients? So, looking at the number of calls that we did even this year, there was nearly 9,000 calls from the relationship management team where we spoke to end clients and customers.
And that was just November, wasn't it?
Yeah, just November, nearly 90,000 so far this year. So 100,000 interactions just via the phone. Add others, you're pushing 200,000.
Yeah.
And I think the key for us is how can we increase that? How can we get more contact with clients? How can we help them achieve their goals or navigate them more around their sites? And they're the sort of things that we do. So within the relationship management team, we have what we call a re-engagement team. Yeah. And the idea for that team is their job is to actually ring clients for specific reasons to help them with things such as annual suitability reviews, ISO allowances, areas that we really can add value to that end client. So that just having this technology allows us to do more of that,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah.
That more personal contact, which
Yeah.
we're always trying to achieve.
And part of the tech you're doing as well, Dianne, with the secure messaging, where all our clients will get to see our gorgeous boys and girls.
Lovely faces.
Yeah.
So again, much like Jamie says, what we want to do is provide a personal touch, and it can often feel like there is nobody at the end of the messages that you're sending. There might be a name and a title, but it's not particularly personal. So what we've done is we've provided the ability to have all of the relationship managers' pictures on the secure messages that go out as well.
Yeah, because they've got them on the emails now.
Yeah.
Some glamorous looking photos.
It is.
Yeah.
There's a couple of things we've done the last 3 months about this, because we want, it's quite the staff in terms of the come and work in the relationship management team. They go through a rigorous training program before we even let them speak to a client. But it's really important that they develop a relationship with clients, and I'd imagine some clients are getting used to speaking to the same types of people. But the pictures on there, which is to get you know them. We've just released on the advisor meetings. We've just released digital technology. So rather than use Zoom or using Zoom or Teams, you're able to just log into your client site and have a virtual meeting.
Visual call,
That personal experience is really important. Using technology to have that really personalised, experience with head office is
Probably
good
stole
stuff.
one of Diane's lines.
Sorry,
there.
Dianne.
It's all right,
probably.
Jamie. It's all right. But it's putting faces to names. And while I don't think, it depends as to how many people that you deal with, essentially. But the minute that you can see what somebody looks like, you do tend to understand a little bit more about them, because I think people do, certainly since the C word, COVID, everything has become much more online focused.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you go or what you do, and it's very, very online. And some of it can feel a little bit impersonal, but you give someone an idea of who it is that they're talking to, what they look like, your mind it files that memory in a different way to just a written response from a name on an email or a secure message.
Absolutely, Dianne. We look after a lot of clients. I mentioned look after more than 500,000 clients now, but we don't want to take any of them for granted, because every one of them has their own individual goals, their own individual savings plans. And we should therefore treat them as individuals. And part of treating them as an individual is making sure our staff's personalities, which is a big part of the interview process, are true potential as well. So something probably not a lot of people know is typically for a second interview. So first interview tends to be, are you a good boy or girl? Can you
check the boxes of the CV?
Are you technically suited for the role? Number two is typically a presentation by a candidate about a subject of their choice. And so that means we get all manner of wild and wacky things. We do. Computer games, makeup, I've had gemstones before and everything else. But it's good, because what that allows me or whoever's interviewing to do is figure out what type of character that person is, because they're speaking about something they are knowledgeable about. If they can do that with enthusiasm and confidence and happiness, then I know they'll be able to do the same with our clients when they then speak to them.
It's not a pass or fail, is it? It's more of a who are you as a person, and how well will you do in the post.
Correct. Yeah. And let's keep on the people side of things. The final thing which we do every month, and which I write about every month, is how we work with our local communities as well. So each month we adopt a charity. It tends to be recommended either by a member of the staff or one of our wealth managers. And this month it was the Newcastle United Foundation, who are, as the name suggests, they're the charitable arm of Newcastle United Football Club. In terms of a North East disclaimer, we also work with the Beacon of Light and Sunderland Football Club's charity as well. So we don't go down as far as Middlesbrough. That's North East enough to Sunderland and Newcastle from there. But where the foundation, they do all manner of things, but they're a community centre, they're a classroom as well. They give education, they give training. Personally, I'm a trustee of a charity, the Harrison Foundation, who sponsor a classroom in there. So I know firsthand the impact it makes. But we did a collaboration with themselves and with St Oswald's, where we won in an auction a Shaun the Sheep, Toon Army side of things. And if Katie has the technology skills, she may be flashing a picture of Shaun up on the screen right now. And what we wanted to do is just have a bit of community fun. And what happened, for those who don't know what a Shaun the Sheep is, it's a children's. Is it a book or a show, Jamie? I don't know why I'm asking you.
You probably asked me. It's off Wallace and Gromit, isn't it?
Well, there we go, right? But anyway, they had a number of them around Newcastle. There was a trail for the kids to go and find them.
They were great. It was good fun.
The one we got had been vandalised by probably an angry away fan because it was outside the stadium. So unfortunately, a lot of children didn't get the chance to see it.
Yeah.
So when we bought it, what we wanted to do was have an open invite to everybody to come and have a look. So we had a great event for that. I got my picture taken with Shaun as well, so that was nice.
I think everybody did.
Yeah. But then the foundation came along to help, and we had a bit of a kick around in the car park, etc. So delighted to say that we raised nearly £3,200 as a result of that day. So that will go straight back into that community programme from there. So thank you to everyone who donated for that. And then we look ahead for this month, and one of the reasons why you heard Dianne describing herself as the festive delivery person the other day, and not the C word.
Not the C word.
And not the C word that you mentioned before.
No.
And not the bad C word that Jamie says all day in the office. It's the C word which happens on the 25th of December. We have a little rule in the office where between the 17th of November and the 17th of December, which is exactly a month until our staff party, we're not allowed to say it. If you say it, do you guys pay £1?
No, it's costly. It's £10.
£10 for me.
£10. Well, you just wanted to be on the management team, so that's what happens. George, are you still £1?
Still £1, but it's still costed us over the years.
So every time you say it, Dianne or Jamie have to pay £10. George has to pay £1. It all goes into the pot.
Yeah.
Some of that pot goes towards some fun and games for the staff at the party, but the rest of it also goes to a charity called Cash for Kids. Cash for Kids, or as they call themselves this month, is Mission C Word. Is all about making sure all children around the region, and it goes wider as well, wake up on the 25th with presents to open. And I think it's a really worthwhile cause in terms of helping little ones who maybe definitely through no fault of their own, could have quite a miserable time of this year. So it's a great chance, I think, to spread some extra cheer, but also we're sounding too like I'm kind of rattling on. Share a bit of our cheer. I think we're all lucky, us four and everybody else in this building. We good jobs, we're well paid, and we can have fun at this time of the year. So it's nice to be able to share that out with others. So we'll be raising, I think we're up to just over £2,000 raised already. True potential will be doubling that. So every time George says the C word, it's worth £2 really to the charity. We've got a proud record of supporting this cause. I think we're up to £50,000 over the last 5 years alone. So let's keep that up, everybody.
It's a fantastic charity, Dan. I've obviously my wife Fanny's a teacher, and I've seen how this can have an effect. She's worked in deprived schools, and when these come in, it makes a huge difference to families that can't afford anything in certain cases. It's incredibly sad, but actually I've witnessed the effect this charity can have, and it's amazing.
No, and like all the charities we support, they're a lean operation as well. There's a lot of volunteers. We get warehouses donated at this time of the year to get the presents and get them out there as well. So it's important, because what I don't want us to do is to back charities where the money just disappears.
Absolutely.
You wanted to make an impact, like Jamesy says there. Grant, well, that was point number 5 of 5 on the list. Should we do a weekend roundup? We haven't done one of those in a while on a podcast.
Yeah, let's do that.
Go on then, Jamie. You go first. What are you doing this weekend?
Well, I'm going to buy some Christmas presents.
Have you said it?
So I'm going to make £10 at Cash for Kids.
There we are.
So there you go. £10 times the amount of viewers.
Oh, right.
Oh, there you are.
That's
At least I wasn't the first.
No, we haven't got to that level. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend. And also taking my eldest swimming as well.
Oh.
So 2 different things. Yeah.
George, I'll look at you next.
Similar weekend to Jamie. I've been putting it off, but I've got a busy few weeks. So this is the one.
This is the difference.
That's why George works in the hard part of the business.
Yes. He understands where the pounds and the pennies go.
Yeah. So 2 boring weekends for George and Jamie.
Well, So we have friends coming over, and I was going to make festive cocktails. I did try a new recipe last night. It didn't work, so I sat in a right huff. So it'll be back to the normal cocktails, I think. So Sunday is probably a little bit bleak for me.
What's a normal cocktail of choice?
So for me, it would be a margarita or an espresso martini, depending.
Margarita, really?
Margarita.
A spicy
Tequila.
one?
No. Just straight up, no salt.
No fun.
No fun.
No.
And you?
I'm going to Laugh for Kids on Sunday, which is the charity show for Cancer Kids. So what they do is, it's a 2-hour show. They run one in the afternoon, one in the night time. It's not worth going to one in the night time because they all get really drunk in the intermission and they're useless. So you go at the early
I'll go to that one.
Well, it started at 7 or 8 o'clock on a Sunday night because they were drunk. They overran by an hour.
Yeah.
But what it actually is the comedian. The tickets are cheap. It's like £5 or something. But everybody's asked to bring at least one present along, so they have a huge present collection on there, and all the comedians get up and do a 15-minute slot for free. So they give up their time. So you get some good mix of local comedians and normally some better known ones as well. So it'll be a bit of a festive fun day out.
Good.
On Sunday.
So you're not on stage that day then?
I'm not funny. I just think I'm funny in my head. And
we all laughed uncomfortably there as well.
That's right. When I'm driving the podcast, it's my company, so you have to laugh.
You have to. Prescribed.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Dianne, George, and Jamie, and indeed, thank you very much, everybody listening at home today. I hope that you've enjoyed this new podcast format. Hopefully it gives you a bit more flavour about what we do at True Potential and some of the way we think and some of those outputs which come from there. So we'll speak probably in January and I'll give you a roundup of December, but indeed the whole year as well. But I hope you all have a lovely weekend and certainly a better weekend than George and Jamie are going to have. Cheerio for now. Thank you.